Today's adventure will begin here at the Green Lawn Cemetery in Columbus, Ohio. And for today, we will be visiting the final resting place of three individuals who were on the hit TV show Bewitched. There are three individuals laid to rest here in Ohio, and I intend to visit each one of them starting right here in this very cemetery. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today is an interesting one. We are tracking down the final resting place of three cast members on the TV show Bewitched, starting right here in this cemetery. We will be visiting the final resting place of actress Merie Earls. She was also in the Waltons. We'll briefly touch on her acting career. She was in one episode of Bewitched. We will also be visiting the grave of Uncle Arthur, Paul Lynde himself, and then finally we will be visiting the final resting place of Endora herself, Agnes Moorehead. So I found it only fitting to do this video around Halloween season because TV show Bewitched, a lot of people watch that show, including my parents and including myself. The TV show was long before my time, but today I'm here to pay my respects to these individuals, starting now. So Merie Earls is laid to rest across from section 93 towards the back of the cemetery here. She's not too hard to find. You just have to kind of know your bearings. I always start at section 93 and walk my way up this hill, passing the Ireland headstone here. She's really close to this tree over here. She is laid to rest here with her husband. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the final resting place of Merie Earls, also known as Merie Earls, depending on which name she went by in her acting career. So a little bit about Merie Earls. She started her acting career rather late. She was discovered through a church. She was a singer, and then ever since then she did TV commercials, newspaper ads, stuff like that, and then she got more into acting. She was on the Bob Newhart show, she was on the Johnny Carson show, she was in the Waltons. She had a pretty decent acting career for her being in her late 80s, early 90s. But we're here for her role in Bewitched. So season 6, episode 16, Samantha's Lost Weekend. I just rewatched that episode last night for this reason, and it's funny because she has a brief cameo in this episode. It's only legit like 10-15 seconds long. So if anybody has seen the episode Samantha's Lost Weekend, you know that Esmeralda is trying to get Tabitha to eat her food, right? Well, she puts a spell on Tabitha's milk. Well, then Samantha eventually drinks the milk, making Samantha crave pretty much any food. So throughout the entire episode, she's just eating constantly, right? So eventually Sam and Darrin go to the grocery store. Well, this is where Merie Earls comes into play. So the scene opens in the grocery store, and there's a whole bunch of people in there shopping around, while Darrin and Sam are along the wall, and she's taking stuff off the shelves constantly and putting it in her cart. And then Darren's like, "You need to chill out, you need to stop, calm down." And then Merie Earls walks up with her cart, and Sam grabs an apple. It's a green apple out of Merie Earls' cart. And Merie Earls is like, "Young woman, that was my apple." Sam's taking a bite, and she puts it back in Merie Earls' cart. And she's like, "Sorry." And then Merie Earls picks it up, looks at it, and is like, "I no longer desire this," and puts it back into Sam's buggy. So that's it. That's the whole cameo of Merie Earls. I guess on IMDb, her character name is the old lady, obviously. But yeah, she had a very brief cameo on Bewitched, and I just thought it was kind of funny. I really enjoyed her little cameo. Like I said, she had a rather late acting career, but it was still cool though. I've never really got to watch much of her stuff, but you know, seeing her on Bewitched, and especially telling Sam that that was her apple, it was great. So it's kind of cool that, you know, there's a little bit of Hollywood history here in Columbus, Ohio, especially relating to such an iconic TV show, because I know a ton of people absolutely loved Bewitched. And to have Miss Merie Earls right here laid to rest in Columbus is really cool. A little piece of Hollywood history right here in Columbus. Check this out. We are back at her grave. 1889 to 1984. Rest in peace, Merie Earls, or Merie Earl on her Wikipedia page. It also goes by Merie Earl. Replace the S with an E, depending on what she went by. But rest in peace to the little old lady in the supermarket yelling at Sam for taking her apple. Merie Earls died at the age of 95 on November 4th, 1984, in Verduga Hills Hospital in Glendale, California, of uremia poisoning following surgery for colon cancer. She outlived both her husband and her daughter. So this is her grave, Marie's, and that's her husband right there, Lawrence. Almost by 30 years. He passed away in 1954 and her 1984. That's wild. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the Amity Cemetery just outside of Mount Vernon, Ohio. Small town. Amity is a super small town. One street pretty much goes right through, but Mount Vernon is the home of actor Paul Lynde, and that's who we are here to visit today. He is laid to rest here alongside his family. So let's see if we can find him. It's a beautiful day out here. Very, very quiet here in the countryside. Not a very big cemetery. It goes just over the hill there. I don't think it goes all the way to the tree line. It might, but yeah, it stops just beyond the hill there, it's just an open field. But over here to my right is where Paul Lynde, his brother, sister, mother and father are all laid to rest here. There are 2 headstones for the family, starting off right here with the left one. We have Paul himself, 1927 to 1982. We have Helen, 1919 to 2001. Johnny, 1929 to 1965. Over here to the right, we have Cordy, 1923 to 1924. Sylvia, 1898 to 1949. And then Hoy, 1894 to 1949. Sylvia and Hoy, I would assume, were the parents. And then Cordy, Johnny, and Helen were his siblings. But they are all laid to rest here. And people have left some things for Paul. Let's see, we have some rocks, some coins. I just want to see what this baseball says. Paul Lynde, 1927 to 1982. An amazingly funny man. What does this say? Visit number 175 Spirit Keeper Project. Uncle Arthur, Bewitched. And that is exactly why we are here, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about his time on Bewitched. And there is a photo here that somebody has left of him. It's hard to make out, but I think I figured it out. It says, "Thank you, Paul, for all of the wonderful laughs you brought to myself and so many others. Best center square ever. God bless you." The Spirit Keeper is what it says. So that is a very, very nice message. I'm just gonna put it back right there where it goes. And it looks like there's a bunch of flowers and stuff that people have left. So that was really nice. I think everybody can agree that when it comes to Paul Lynde, 2 words come to mind. So not only was he a comedian, but he was a practical joker. That's what he was in the TV show Bewitched. He always had a wit about him. He was always cracking jokes and doing funny things. I would have to say, of all the things that he did on the show, had to do a little bit of a refresher last night. I was watching Uncle Arthur's greatest moments, if you will, and I come across one specifically where I think he was walking in a living room. Well, he walks in and he goes, "I think I'm just gonna rest my weary bones." And he turns into a skeleton and he just plops down on the couch. I lost it. That is so freaking funny. And then when he pops in the table, when they take the top off of the tray and it's just his head, classic. And then let's see, when Sam is in the kitchen and she hears his voice and she opens the oven and he's just, his head is in there in the oven. So funny. So many memorable moments from Mr. Paul Lynde on Bewitched. Now, he is originally from Mount Vernon here, and he had a very good career. You know, he was in movies, in TV shows, and one of the other TV shows that he was a part of, and he's mostly known for, is his time on Hollywood Squares. the game show, the original game show. He was usually center square, and anytime he was called upon, he always had some kind of joke. And I remember one night I just went down the rabbit hole of watching Paul Lynde zingers on Hollywood Squares, and I tell you, I have never laughed so hard in my life at some of the stuff that he said. It was really funny. Now, he was also in Bye Bye Birdie as well. There's a whole list that just goes on of the stuff that he was in, but I would say most people know him from Bewitched as Uncle Arthur and Hollywood Squares. So I'm not going to go too much into detail about his life. I know that they ruled his death a heart attack, and that he was cremated and interred here with his family at the Amity Cemetery here in Knox County. But yeah, this is a super small cemetery. But yeah, I just wanted to come up here and pay my respects to Mr. Paul Lynde yet again. And also, something else that I didn't know about Paul Lynde, I mean, I'm sure other people would have known this, but the character Uncle Arthur was originally never in the script. Paul Lynde, his debut was as a character called Harold. He was Samantha Stephens' nervous driving instructor. Okay, and then he got along so well with Elizabeth and the director, which is her husband. He got along with them so well that they created the character Uncle Arthur just for him. How crazy is that, to have your own character created just because of how well of an actor you are? People absolutely loved him as the driving instructor, so they created his own character for him. Uncle Arthur was born. That's crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so far we have been to the final resting place of Merie Earls, who played the older lady in season 6, episode 16, in the grocery store. And now we just visited the final resting place of Uncle Arthur, Paul Lynde himself. So now we have to go down to the Dayton, Ohio area to find the final resting place of actress Agnes Moorehead, who played Endora, Samantha's mother. So we have quite a bit of a drive ahead of us, but we are going to make it and talk a little bit about her life as Endora on Bewitched. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have finally made it down to Dayton, Ohio here. I am currently at the Dayton Memorial Park Cemetery, and we are here to pay our respects and visit the final resting place of Miss Agnes Moorehead, who played Endora on the TV show Bewitched. She is laid to rest in this mausoleum behind me. It is called the Memorial Abbey Mausoleum here at this cemetery. I figured it was only fitting to leave Miss Agnes Moorehead as the last final resting place that we visit throughout this adventure. Mausoleum hours are 9 to 4. It is almost 10 o'clock, so we should be good to go in. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Memorial Abbey Mausoleum. Now, if you plan on visiting Miss Agnes Moorehead, come inside, go up the steps, and make an immediate left. And she is laid to rest right over here. There's a giant ladder here. Right here. It's Agnes Robertson Moorehead, 1974. And there is her photos right there. People have left things for her, some scarves, some necklaces. There's a little star there. And then right here we have Margaret Ann Moorehead. So she is laid to rest here with family members. But inside this mausoleum here is where she is laid to rest. Now, there's so much I could say about Miss Agnes Moorehead, but one fact that definitely stood out to me was that she went to the Muskingum College in New Concord, Ohio, which isn't all that too far from my house. It's in Muskingum County, which is probably 30 to 45 minutes away. And I was reading on her Wikipedia page that she bequeathed $25,000 to the Muskingum College with instructions to fund one or more Agnes Moorehead scholarships. She also left half of her manuscripts to Muskingum, with the other half going to the University of Wisconsin. Her family's Ohio farm went to John Brown University in Siloam Springs, Arkansas, along with her collection of Bibles and biblical scholarship materials. So the fact that she went to college right around where I live is super, super cool. So unfortunately, she passed away at the Mayo Clinic Hospital in Rochester, Minnesota on April 30th, 1974, due to uterine cancer at the age of 73. So just one more time, really quick, before we head out. Rest in peace, Miss Agnes Moorehead, who played Endora on Bewitched. Yeah, there's so much more I could say about Miss Agnes Moorehead, just as I could go on and on about Paul Lynde and Miss Merie Earls. But this was just a quick little adventure I decided to throw together to pay my respects to the cast members that have passed away from Bewitched, that are laid to rest here in the Ohio area. And I thought it was kind of cool to do this in the spirit of Halloween, being that the TV show was about witches. But yeah, let me know down in the comments if you've ever watched Bewitched. Let me know what your favorite character is, or your favorite episode for that matter. But I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on it. And I think we're going to end things here. We have visited the grave of Merie Earls, who played the old shopping lady in season 6, episode 16, Samantha's Lost Weekend. We visited the grave of Uncle Arthur, Mr. Paul Lynde, and we're ending it here at the final resting place of Miss Agnes Moorehead, who played Endora. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is going to conclude today's adventure. Again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. It means the world to me. And as always, be safe, take care, peace out, and we'll see you on the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Stay spooky.